Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on high finance. But we're not talking about traders and big bonuses. We're going deeper, into the engine room. We're talking about the plumbing of Wall Street. And believe me, it's getting one heck of an AI-powered upgrade. So think about it. What actually happens in those critical hours after a trade is made? Well, behind the scenes, a super complex process called settlement kicks off to make sure the money and the securities go to the right places. But here's the thing, the whole system is speeding up. We're moving to what's called T+1 settlement, which basically means you have just one day to get everything right. There's zero room for error. All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to break this down into 5 key upgrades, walking through exactly how AI is making this whole process smarter, from acting as a safety net to becoming a co-pilot for the people on the front lines. All right, first up, finance's next big upgrade. You have to remember, the bond market is just massive. And with this new, faster settlement, the old way of doing things, people manually checking for mistakes, it just can't keep up. The system has to get way, way smarter. So the fix is this really cool 2-part solution. First, you've got blockchain. Think of it as the ultimate source of truth, one shared, unchangeable record for every single transaction. And then you layer on AI. That's the brain of the operation. It's constantly looking at that truth, analyzing it to make the whole process smarter, and honestly, a lot safer. Okay, so let's dig into that idea of a safety net. What does that actually look like? Well, its first job is to be a guardian, a watchdog that's constantly monitoring the flow of transactions for risks that a human team could never, ever hope to catch by themselves. This thing never sleeps. It's on 24/7, and it's constantly learning what normal looks like in the market. So when something weird pops up, maybe an interest payment is slightly off, or a trade is for a bizarre amount, it instantly throws up a red flag. It's like the market's ultimate tireless security guard. And here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't just about catching typos. The AI is actually trained to sniff out bad actors. As Deloitte notes here, it uses these really advanced techniques to dig into hidden patterns and spot potential market manipulation. It's looking for stuff that's intentionally designed to trick the system. So we're talking about things like spoofing, where traders place fake orders to create a false sense of demand, or wash trades, where someone basically just trades with themselves to make it look like there's a lot of activity. The AI is literally trained to see the digital fingerprints of these schemes and flag them for the humans in charge. Okay, so it's great at spotting problems. But what happens next? This is where it goes from being a watchdog to a full-on automated engine that not only finds errors, but helps fix them and build smarter rules on the fly. So say an error pops up, what they call an exception. The AI doesn't just go, hey, something's wrong. No, it's way smarter. It figures out what the problem is, how bad it is, and then, and this is the cool part, it looks at how similar problems were solved before and suggests the fix. It'll say something like, hey, it looks like there's an extra 0 in this bond ID. Try removing it. In a world where you only have one day to settle, that's an absolute game changer. Now, here's another huge headache for finance. Taking really complicated legal rules, written in plain English, and turning them into perfect computer code. A single financial document could have hundreds of rules like this one. And if you mess that up, the consequences can be, well, huge. This is where AI becomes this brilliant translator. And check this out. The AI, specifically a large language model, can read that English sentence and automatically spit out the correct code for a smart contract. This isn't just faster. It cuts way down on the chance for human error when you're translating rules that control billions of dollars. But this isn't all just happening in some server room in the basement. It actually creates an intelligent co-pilot for the real people on the front lines, the traders, the risk managers, you name it. So picture this. Instead of staring at a massive spreadsheet, you log in and see this. It's a simple visual health check for all your trades. Right away, you see it 95% are good to go, 4% need a look, and crucially, 1% are at critical risk. You know exactly where to put your energy. And it gets even cooler. You can actually talk to the system. A manager doesn't have to know how to write some complex query. They can just ask a question, just like they'd ask a person on their team, and look at their response. The AI gives you a straight, actionable answer. It doesn't just dump data on you, it gives you insight. It tells you why the trade is risky, so you can pick up the phone and fix the problem before it blows up. It's turning data into a real conversation. So let's step back. What does all this add up to? When you put all these pieces together, you get a financial system that's just fundamentally smarter and a whole lot more resilient. Yeah, the takeaways here are pretty clear. You're talking about a dramatic drop in risk, huge gains in efficiency from automation, and a switch from just reacting to problems to actually predicting them. And all of that, it just makes for a more stable financial system and lower costs for everybody. So this combination, this fusion of an unbreakable blockchain ledger with a smart AI brain, it's a really powerful blueprint for upgrading these incredibly complex systems. We're seeing it happen right now in the bond markets, which really just leaves us with one big question. What other industry's essential behind-the-scenes plumbing is going to be rebuilt by AI next?